Hey guys, welcome back to another video where we are going to look at AgilePoint's integration with NVIDIA NIM. In the fast evolving landscape of artificial intelligence and data processing, NVIDIA has once again stepped into the spotlight with its groundbreaking platform, NVIDIA NIM. NVIDIA NIM is designed to optimize the deployment and management of AI models in data centers, addressing key challenges faced by enterprises in scaling AI applications. At its core, NIM focuses on enhancing the inference processes where pre-trained AI models make predictions based on new data by streamlining operations and maximizing hardware efficiency. NIM leverages NVIDIA's expertise in GPU acceleration to deliver high throughput and low latency for AI inference tasks. This is helping promote use of AI in real-world applications in various industries such as healthcare, automotive, finance, retail, etc. As AI continues to permeate every aspect of modern technology, the demand for efficient and scalable inference solutions will only grow. NVIDIA NIM is well positioned to meet these demands. AgilePoint, on the other hand, has a fast growing ecosystem of AI integrations, providing tooling for operationalizing AI within your organization using its composable metadata IT abstraction framework. The NVIDIA AgilePoint integration allows using NVIDIA NIM hosted models to be used in AgilePoint business process to quickly integrate pre-trained AI inference capabilities which drive the core business of your organization. Let's see this in action. I'm going to navigate to AgilePoint portal over here. I'm going to show you a demo where we are going to look at a scenario of a car buyer research app. Typically, before buying a car, user would be performing some kind of research and compare various car models before zeroing in on his final choice. This process can be laborious and takes time as you navigate through various car manufacturers' websites and try to find answers to your questions, which might be different from other users' questions. Using NVIDIA NIM hosted LLM models, we will simplify the process where user can enter his customized list of questions and gets the answer in a flash. So before we get into the application itself, we are going to create a connection to connect back to NVIDIA NIM. Now, for those of you who are already familiar with AgilePoint, this connection can be created at a global level and can be shared across applications, or it can be created at an application level as well. In my case, I'm going to create a global level token. So I'm going to go to Manage Center, App Builder, Global Access Token. At the top, I can search for the kind of access token I want to create. I'm going to select NVIDIA NIM, click on Add Token, give it a nice looking name, description, and next it is going to ask me for an API key which will be used to connect back to the NVIDIA NIM system. So I'm going to navigate back to NVIDIA website over here under the NIM section. I will find a button called Try Now. I can click on any of the models. I'll see a link over here called Get API Key. Click on that and click Generate Key. Copy the key, navigate back to Manage Center, paste the key over here, click Test Connection. That means our connection is successful. I can go ahead and save it. In my case, I've already created the token, so I'm going to cancel this out. I'm going to use the existing token. Next, I'm going to navigate to App Builder. I already have an application, so I'm going to go to Recent Applications. The application I've selected is my demo application called Car Buy Research NVIDIA NIM. I'm going to open the process model. What you'll see over here is there is a dedicated library for NVIDIA NIM now listed over here, which has two activities. Now, if you go to NVIDIA NIM documentation, there are various actions you can take, mainly around chat completion. Some of them are around retrieval, visual models, multi-models, and industry-specific models as well. So we can keep adding more capabilities over here. At this point of time, I've added two activities, chat completion and creating an image. Now, the way this activity works is I can drag and drop the activity, give it a nice looking name, connect to NVIDIA NIM using the access token I created. Under the Model Properties tab, select the model which you want to consume. It will list down all the models available under NVIDIA NIM. I'm going to go ahead and say I want to connect to Meta Llama 2. I can specify temperature and other parameters, including my maximum length. I'm going to go with default, which is 1024 characters. Under user message, I can specify what question it needs to answer. Now, it can be coming from a variable which is in my form. So I'm going to just map it to a variable. Now, in terms of response, I can either use the schema mapper to store the response, or I can store it using the variable. So if I use the schema mapper, on the left hand side, what you see is the response structure of the NVIDIA NIM services. And on the right hand side, what you see is the AgilePoint schema. It sends me back a lot of information. I'm interested in only the content, which I can map it back to my response node. Or if I was just interested in directly storing it in a variable, I can always go in over here, navigate to my schema, and I have a variable called response1, and I can directly map it over here as well. So whichever way works better for you. Similarly, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to delete this activity because I've already configured rest of the activities. I'm going to show you the configuration of the second activity, create image. You can connect to NVIDIA using the access token. It will list down the model, so the experience is pretty much the same. Select your model, describe your image. In my case, that is coming from a variable which is going to have the data which I entered on the form. So I've already mapped it. Next, it is going to give me an option, where do I want to store my image? I can store it in a repository, or I can store it in a variable which contains the base64 format of the returned image. In my case, I'm going to store it to a repository. I'm going to give it a name. It lists down all the repositories which I have access to. I'm going to select SharePoint. I'm going to connect to SharePoint using my access token. I'll specify that I want to connect to a document library in the root site. The name of the library is documents, and there are various folders available, but I'm going to store it at the root level of the document library. I can also specify my file override rules and go ahead and click finish. I've already published this process model, so I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my work center over here. And I'm going to invoke the application. Now, the model itself is capable of returning me back the response in various languages. So it's multilingual. In my case, I'm going to select English, but feel free to select any of the languages if you run this demo. I'm going to select Tesla Model Y. That's what I'm interested in. And it is going to ask me some standard questions. I'm going to say, I'm interested in knowing the pros and cons of this model, key specifications, what colors are available for this model, who are the competitors of this model, generate an image as well. And maybe I have some custom questions. So I can say, what is the difference between Tesla Model 3 and Model Y? And then I can specify the email to which this generated response should be sent to. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. If I now navigate to my inbox processes, I can see a process has been kicked off. What it is doing at this point of time is it is connecting back to NVIDIA NIM hosted model and generating response to all my questions. So the process is completed. I would have received an email. If I go back to my mailbox, I can see an email generated with all the answers. Now in this case, I decided to put it in an email. You could put it in a Word document or a PDF document and mail it out. You can have a nice looking formatted HTML email as well. So that's totally up to your process design. Now at the same time, if you remember, I had one activity which would have generated an image. And if I see over here, there's a new image which got generated and stored in my SharePoint repository. So that brings us to the end of this video. As you can see, AgilePoint's composable metadata IT abstraction framework lets you easily integrate with NVIDIA NIM services in your business apps in a simple yet manageable way, where you can easily switch to a different AI model as they are made available by changing metadata level configuration instead of going through the coding cycles. Thanks a lot for your time.